We were there for 2 weeks. We spent most of our time in the border town near the refugee camp of Mesot because people actually need passes to gain access to the camps. So we stayed in the nearby town where all the NGOs and organizations live and function. And then during the daytime we went to the refugee camps when we had access to them and had actual residents of the camps walk us around and show us how it works on that side.
We had friends who were doctors and teachers at some of the organizations on the border that like some of the clinics and the schools, and so we went to those areas some of the days, and then we went to the camps other times. We kind of got to know the volunteer tourism culture that was interesting. That was on the border. There's people that live there for a couple of years that keep on going to the camps every day, but still live in this NGO land. So we kind of named it where it's almost these like kind of gated communities outside of the border town, where it's more like westernized, larger houses. And so it's interesting to kind of see the different kind of vernacular that developed from
the volunteers.
So there's like two borders.
International,
Yeah,
like
they create
kind of international community, and then this refugee community, and also the Thailand market that comes to it to make the trades across the border.
So there's basically two communities. You've got the refugee camps and then the NGOs that are a result of the refugee camps.
But there's also the Thailand kind of merchants that live on the border as well. There's this kind of black market between Burma and Thailand that has been there since the 70s. But the people that kind of participate in the market are a little different now because the Burmese government has kind of occupied the border, so it's more regularized through the Burmese government, and the ethnic minorities have pushed them into the refugee camps. That's how it's kind of evolved.
And how is the Thai reception of the Burmese refugees coming in?
There's a lot of, I mean, we spent some time in Bangkok as well, and we went and talked to UNICEF and some other organizations, and it's interesting how kind of Thailand is giving the land to them, but a lot of the actual organizations that are running the camps are more international than Thai-based that we found.
Like the NGOs that are coming in from Western countries actually create this, they actually need to hire people, and often like the Thai residents within the city nearby want the jobs at the NGOs that come in because they're the highest paying jobs and they have the most amount of benefits compared to the normal jobs that they can find.
It almost creates this like microeconomy that people are kind of magnet to. So over here we have a little kind of a diagram of the different wages that are paid to different NGO workers or UN employees, and even the UN hiring someone in Thailand, they would spend like a quarter of the kind of amount that they would spend on someone that's coming from international, from the US or from England or something. So
other than that, like the Thai government, for the most part, are happy or don't as much mind the refugee camps being there, but they don't actually want the population within the refugee camps assimilating to Thai culture and integrating into the Thai culture.
We have checkpoints. Even though the refugees are allowed to stay in the camps, they're not allowed to leave the camps, and they don't have the right kind of takers to go into the bigger cities to find jobs. So there's checkpoints along the way to the refugee camps, so they can't leave the city.
What do the refugees do for money?
Well, that's where the NGOs come in. They places like ZOA or groups like ZOA and PCC take money that they receive from private organizations or religious groups or from the government or the UNHCR and actually develop jobs within the camps. So they have different job training where they do. We met a cook or electrician, and they'd get small, like $40 that they would work within the camp. So they kind of create a microeconomy.
I mean, a lot of the problem with the refugee camps, and this isn't only the refugee camps in Thailand, but is that people have nothing to do. Like, most of them actually don't have a job and don't have means of spending and making money, and it's a huge problem.
Aren't there also a lot of Burmese who cross and don't stay in the refugee camp?
Yeah, there's, I mean, one stop would be to a refugee camp. There's other places that we visited where people are actually living on the border in their own homes, and kind of going back and forth between their families in Burma and then back in Thailand to make money and bring it back. There's also border schools that children come across the border to get educated and then they go back. But also a lot of people go through Mesa and through all the camps and try to go to Bangkok and the other cities to find work so they can make more money than they would in the camp. Some of the families that we visited, a lot of the kind of older brothers would be, one was off in Malaysia or in Singapore trying to find a job to come back and give money to their family and that were living in the camps.
Do you guys have any concluding thoughts? I want you to get back to your party.
But I think, I mean, the thing we noticed when we were working on this is we really have, like you were noticing, like we only have really scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And we'd love to go back. We'd love to get more funding.
I think the drive for the project was kind of, we know we're interested in these things, we know we want to document it, but what can designers, we're not really sure like what our position is in this atmosphere. Like, we wanted to kind of get as much information as we could, and even though we've just learned a little bit, we're still interested in like finding out more and figuring out like where potentially an architect or a planner could interface with this type of atmosphere. So we're still
trying to figure that out. You're going to teach a studio about it?
We'd love to. That's our dream.
Right now we're teaching divided cities, which kind of, we're pushing our students to draw like this. And as we kind of advise them to do it, we're telling ourselves, oh, we need to make that drawing too. So it's a good way to kind of develop our thoughts.
I mean, like, it would be ideal to be able to bring a bunch of students into the camps and into the cities nearby and actually be able to do what we did and document different aspects of the city.
And so many elements of it are so like kind of self-built and self-initiated that there is so many areas where potentially like bring creative minds to it could make a better place. So we'll see.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.